This conference will now be recorded.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever you are going to create a user in the database, so a schema with the same name will also be created. What does it mean? Let's assume on that day I have created a user with name Oba, right? So a schema will also be created with this name. Now, what is the difference between user and a schema? Now, just like I am a trainer, right? I am teaching some student in a class, right? So identity of that class is with my name. Okay, so my name is Pawan, and I'm teaching some 10 of the student in my class. So whatever the class is, that area on which my students are sitting, that area is called schema, right? So a container that can contain the object created by that user, right? So username is a logical thing, schema name is also a logical thing, but you can understand that room is a schema, and that room is identified by the trainer name, and trainer is Pawan. So what other people will say, this is Pawan's class room, right? So that area belongs to a schema and identify by that name the username, or we can also say the schema name. Now, the point is means the number of students are sitting in that room. Those are the objects. Objects means those are the belongings of that schema, means that classroom. Also, you can say the owner of those students are the owner of those students is Pawan. So if I will means actually I have opened this. Wait. So as I can say, this is a class, right? And this class is recognized with a name, or this is a box, and this is recognized with the name OVA, right? And some of the content inside that box, these are the belongings of OVA. But that can only be exist inside this boundary, and this boundary is called schema, the area on which OVA can create his own object. And by default, the objects those are created in this area, or we can say that area is schema. The owner of all those objects is OVA. That is
Okay.
clear.
That's clear.
Okay. Okay. So OVA cannot create any object in any other area, or we can say in others schema as well, right? OVA
Okay.
cannot create until unless that schema owner has not provided the permission to OVA to create his own belongings to his schema.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so the syntax to create a user is like that. I'm writing some generalized statement. Thereafter, I will create a user and tell you how to create. Right? So the syntax is create user. So create user and the username. User name, right? And thereafter you will provide identified by, and you can give identification mark identified by password, means you will give a password, word, right? Or you can, so this is what identified by password, and in place of password you will replace something, or identified externally. Give me a second. Give me a second.
This conference will now be recorded.
So you can use either identified by password or identified externally, or globally as any external name, right? So you have three options, means either you want to identify it by any password, which is the default one, or identified externally, or identified globally by any external name. Now the point is, this globally external name, that is like, means you have saved your password in any application, right? And that user is fetching that password from that application, right? So we cannot do practical of this globally, but but uh, but I will show you the practical of identified by password and identified externally, right? Now, thereafter, you have to tell that on which table space by default this user's data will store. So you will say default table space, right? And thereafter, you have to provide table space name. Okay. Thereafter, you also have to provide table space and temporary table space name, right? Thereafter, you have to provide quota. Thereafter, you have to provide the value. Either it can any integer that can be in K, means KB, or can be in MB, right? Or you can provide unlimited, right? On default table space, means whatever the default table space is, table space name. There you have to give the default table space name, right? Similarly, you will provide quota integer m on temporary table space. Temporary table space. Temporary, right? Thereafter, you can also provide password expire. Password expire. What is that? I will tell you. By default, account will create with lock status or unlock status. So you will then give account and lock and unlock, right? And you will provide the profile, and you will give the profile name. And by default is the value. There is a default profile. I will show you. Right. So this is all about your syntax to create a user. In some scenario, some of the features will not be used because by default they have picked, like temporary table space, they have picked automatically, right? So I will show you a user to create. Thereafter, I will come into profile. What is profile and what is password expire? Now, so so by default, I will see what is my how many table spaces are there. So from where I can see how many table spaces are there. Oba, tell me.
Um, just one per table.
Sorry,
Just one per table. One per.
speak clearly. Speak clearly. Don't
Sorry,
speak in mouth. Don't speak in mouth. If that is not clear,
sorry,
tell
I'm
me
just doing
directly that
precisely.
that is not clear. That means you have not gone through my last week class.
Oh,
You have not seen my video, right?
no, I haven't seen your video.
Why? You have to note down all the notes. Do you know what
No,
is the time here? What is the time here in India? Let me discuss something with you. Yes, I'm going to
but
stop the recording once.
I've been trying to catch up with you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so from where I can find what is my table spaces. So first thing is DSC V dollar table spaces. Sorry, space, right? Now, what is the difference between V dollar and DBA? So some of the time you will also see whether DBA underscore table spaces, whether it will give yes. So what is the difference between these DBA and V dollar? So these V dollar views are giving information from the control files, right? Whatever the information there in control file, you will get those information from V dollar views. But DB are the physical storage information, right? Physically stored information. So you can get the name from here as well as from there as well. So select name from DB, right? So you have system, sysocs, user, example. So I will assign example table space for you or over TBS table space for your user, right? So create and what are the temporary table spaces? So DSC, DBA, DBA underscore temp underscore files, right? So here you can see table space name and how many files are temporary files are there. To select table space name, comma, file underscore name from DBA underscore temp underscore files. So temp1 is the table space. It so create, that recording is on.
That's being recorded.
Yeah, just to check. Yes, recording. Okay, create user OVA, right? And thereafter identified by OVA, capital O bar, and we means Oracle say that you will never use @ symbol, right? So I will use hash 123, right? Now thereafter default table space, default table space name OVA TBS, OVA underscore TBS, right? Now you can assign a quota. You can assign a temporary. We need not to provide any temporary table space. If you have more than one temporary table space, you can assign here. But by default, whatever the default temporary table space, that will be assigned to any user. So we will not use that syntax temporary table space. By this, we will not use this one temporary table space, right? So next one, quota, quota. Now you have option that either you can provide unlimited. Unlimited means whatever the size of your table space, that user can save his files up to that mark. So quota 10 M. I am giving 10 MB quota on this table space on OBA underscore TPS, right? Thereafter password expire, expire, right? And account, by default account is unlocked, account lock. I am creating with lock, right? And profile default, right? This is syntax to create a user. So user created, right? Now this password expire option will be will means what we can say, will force you to change the password on first login. Whenever you will try to log in first, then it will ask you to change the password, right? So I will try to log in. So connect OBA slash OBA hash 123, right? So it will not allow you, right? Account is locked, right? So how I can unlock it? How I can unlock it? So alter command, we will use alter user OBA account unlock. So if your account is locked, then you are not able to log in. So by using sys privilege, I am going to unlock OBA. Right? Again, I will try to log in. So change the password. It is saying the password has expired. Change the password for OBA. Are you seeing?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right? This is because of I have used that password expired here.
Okay.
Password expired. Right? This is the work of this password expired. This it is telling you to change the password on first login. So I will give OBA. So that will not be visible. Capital O, BA, and same password I will OBA, right? OBA and OBA, right? So what is it is saying? OBA lay create session privilege. So because this OBA user has not create session privilege, so it is not able to create the session. So after creating any user, you should also have to give a create session privilege to that user. How I will give grant create session to OBA. So I have given create session privilege to OBA, right? So everything is permission dependent, right? Now thereafter I will again try to so invalid username password because I have changed the password. So OBA, if you don't want to see connect OBA, thereafter OBA. This is the right way, right? So you are into a OBA schema. You are connected to OBA schema. Now I will try to create a table. Table A and ID number. It will not allow me to create this table because this I have not given any privilege to create a table to this OVA user. Insufficient privilege, right? So exit. So I will give create, sorry, grant create table to this is the privilege name create table to OVA, right? So again I will connect. OVA is the password and I will try to create it. Okay, that point is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now to give you understanding of this this particular profile, it is not okay. So I will exit cd dollar oracle underscore is right. This is what this is your oracle node. CERDBMS. C. D. M. S. 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 Now yeah, this is the file utlpwtmg.sql, right? You need to see this file. So I will cat it, right? This is the file. So see it from upper side, from the starting. So you can see this is basically a SQL script having a function. You are seeing verify function 11G, right? Before of 11G in 12C that has been created verify function 12C. Before of 11G there was a function verify underscore function only, right? Like this. So verify underscore function. In 10G there was a function verify function, and 11G it has become verify function. So what this SQL script is doing basically, this SQL script is saying that what type of password should be, right? Means as I have given the password OBA only, OBA, right? OBA.
Yes, sir.
So if I will apply this, if I will run this script, then you cannot give a password less than 8 character, right? Password length cannot be 8. At least one lower character, at least one upper character, right? A special reserve word cannot be used in the password, right? These
Okay.
words cannot be used in the password. These words cannot be used in the password. These words, right? Your password should have one numeric value that can be 1 to 100, right?
Okay.
Right? At least one digit and one character and one special character should be there. So automatically that function will be applied and all these restriction will be imposed on your password, right?
Okay.
Just like I have given over only, so I cannot give over at that time. I just have to fulfill all the criteria, whatever the criteria are mentioned here. Okay.
Okay.
Now on the bottom of that you can see alter profile default limit this. So directly we cannot apply this SQL function 11G, verify function 11G. But by using profile, I will apply it, right? So where we have used that profile, just see that OBA user which we have created. Where the oh that I've lost. So so we have used profile and the profile name. If you have created your own profile or the default profile space default, I have given that time, right? So here you can see what is default profile. Here you can see what is default profile. So alter profile default is the name of profile and limit is the keyword, and thereafter it is telling password lifetime means your password lifetime is 180 days. What it mean? 6 months. Automatically when 6 months will complete it, then automatically your password will be expired and it will ask to change again after 180.
Okay.
So your password lifetime, what I am telling with this profile, that password lifetime is 180 days. Next is password grace time. means after expire, means after 180 days it has expired, but after expire, how many days it will give you a message to change it. It will give you 7 days grace time. It will give you message that your password has been expired. Your password has been expired up to next 7 days, right? And thereafter your account will be locked. Next is password use time unlimited. Means you can reuse your password after expiration anytime, right?
Okay, so
Means we, we can give password use time 30, right? Means let's assume your password is over, you have changed something. Now after changing this password and after expiration of that password, after 30 days, you are able to reuse it. That is the use time. After
okay,
how many days you can reuse it.
okay, that's
Password
fine.
reuse max. Password reuse max means maximum how much time you can, how many time you can use same password, right? Maximum. Fail login attempt 10. What it means? If you have typed wrong password 10 times, then your account will be locked. And for how many days it will lock? Password lock time 1 means for 1 day it will be locked on. Next is here in profile I have applied password verify function, and I have applied password verify function 11G. Now the point is this profile I am applying on user creation, right? And once I will apply this profile, automatically this password verify function will be applicable. If I will run this script, right? Because in my database I have not written this script. That's why I am able to give that password. If I will run this script, then I am not able to give the password like that over. I have to satisfy all the criteria mentioned in this password verify function, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
profile are created to restrict your password. So I am just creating a new profile, right? By using this syntax. So actually the problem is just in place of alter, we just put create, right? Create profile default or any name, profile name. Yes, I can put it. No, I am not able to copy. No, I am not able to copy. So here you can also see another log time one by this, right? So means 1 hour. It is going to log for 1 hour. So in place of alter, we just use create profile, profile name, and that profile I will assign to my user, right? In user creation. So automatically that password verify function or all the feature will be applicable to that user as well and that account.
You have to specifically assign the profile to the user to make sure that their password is restricted.
Actually, I'm not able to copy it. Oh, I don't
So,
want to type everything
hello,
because that
hello.
is. Yeah, yeah. Hello. What you
So
are
you have
saying?
to, so you have to assign the profile to the user for it to
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You just create a profile according to your use, is by using create profile name, right? Copy all this thing and create a profile, right?
Okay.
Okay, and assign that profile to your user. Automatically that thing will be applicable to that user related to password. Okay, is that okay?
That's fine. Thank you, sir.
So so by using profile you can also manage the resources as well, right? Like what is the resource time, right? What is the resource limit? What is the CPU per session? What is the CPU? What is the session per user? What is the connect time? What will the ideal time of that user? So that can also be managed by that profile as well. Means accept password profile is also managing, but generally we are not doing by using profile. We are just doing the password management using the profile,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Fine.
Okay. Next is identified externally, right? So first thing is there are some parameter needs to be changed, right? So show parameter authentic, right? So that is already blank. By default, the value of this is OPS dollar. By default,
Okay.
the value is OPS dollar, right?
Okay.
So we have to blank it. We have to replace it with single quotes, two single quotes like this. Alter system set OS and prefix is equals to just like this, right? Is there any typo? Yes. Cannot be modified because we have to use scope equals to this. I have already changed and restart the server, so I don't require that. So that has been changed, right? First point
Okay.
is this, right? Now, second point is you have to create a user of externally type, and that username should be the OS username, just like OS username. So what is why OS username? OS username is Oracle, right?
Okay.
So I will create a user with a name Oracle, right? So SQL create user Oracle identified externally. Oracle already exists. Drop user Oracle cascade, right? So again, I am going to create this create user Oracle. So the point is, whatever one database can have only one externally typed user,
Okay.
and the name of that externally typed user should be the name of your OS username, whatever the OS from which OS user you have logged in, right? Now, see SQL plus slash, right? So because because you have not given the create session privilege to Oracle. So grant create session to Oracle. Oracle is the user, right? Now
Okay.
just see, right? You have get into the database, but in which schema you have logged in? Show user. Show user. Oh, show user. Which user you have logged in? Oracle. So the gist of this all exercise is that whatever the externally typed user has been created in the database, you can log in with database in that user without any password. So you just write SQL plus slash. You are there in the database with Oracle scheme. So
Okay.
externally typed user don't require any password authentication, right?
Okay.
Whatever the externally typed user you have created, that will take the OS authentication and get into the database. So you need not to provide any password for this externally typed,
Okay.
right? So there are some alter statement as well. So SQL plus. Now, let's assume you want to change the password of OBA, right? And you are there in OBA schema. OBA slash OBA. OBA is the password. Connect, right? So the command is pass wt. If you want to change the password of yourself, then you can use pass wt. Sorry, pass not password. Pass wt is the Linux command. Password, password, right? Old password, OBA. New password, OBA 123. OBA again password. And old password, OBA 123. New password is OBA. And right now, if any other means if you want to change the password by using alter statement, so first of all you should have a DBA privilege to change any other schema password, right? So alter user OBA identified by password. And what are the password? I am giving OBA 123. And you can also give with this account lock or unlock, whatever you want, right? That has been changed. If you want to lock the account, alter user OBA account, alter user OBA account, lock, right? So now OBA cannot be connected. OBA slash, right? Account is locked. If you want to change, then you can unlock, right? If you want to change any quota or any default table space, like alter user quota default table space and example. I have given example as a default. Now, by default, the OVA data will be saved in example table space. Now you want to give the quota, alter user user OVA quota 1M on example. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you want to see the how many users are there, so you can see from DBA underscore users. So DBA underscore $3. Sorry, this is not it. So you can also see the quota as well, DSC DBA underscore TS table space underscore quota. So from here you can also quotas. You can also see the quota of a specific user. You select username, right? Account status, everything you will see from here by using select query. As well as you can see the quota and the default table space associated to that user from this. So what is exactly the user running? User name of session. Right? So all users are visible. So right now I am using sys user, so that user is appearing there. Two sys user sessions are there, right?
Okay.
Now if you want to drop that user, drop user user over, then you will put cascade. And if there are some foreign key and other element from other schema, that also to drop. If you have not used cascade, then you are not able to drop. So cascade will drop all the foreign keys and other element, whatever the other elements are, right? So that will means OBA schema will be dropped, as well as the content related to those schema, those links will also be dropped by using this. But if you are not using that OBA, only if you are not using cascade, then either you are not able to drop the user or those links will not be dropped, right? Anything can be. That's fine. Cascade will drop all the dependency as well, right? Okay. So user management is completed. Tomorrow I will show you the privileges and roles. Whatever the privileges and roles we can assign to any user. Okay.
Okay.
Drop user. So I am not taking very long class. I am dividing today's class in two parts, just because you are not able to cover the old ones. Okay, so privileges. I am going to cover that privilege portion today itself, but today I'm not coming. I will show all those demonstration tomorrow. Okay, so see you tomorrow, same time,
Okay, see you
4:30.
tomorrow.
4:30. Any question?
Um, you, you send the book to the email.
Uh, can you please
Have
come
you
again?
have you sent the book to the email?
What said?
The sorry the um. Okay, yeah, I can see it here. The Oracle WS1 books.
Yes, already
Yeah.
sent one
Okay.
or 1 month before, right?
Okay.
So see you next week. So sorry, see you
Yes.
tomorrow.
See you
Bye bye.
tomorrow.